Hi guys, Cryptogasm here for Cryptogasmic. For those who are new to our group, welcome. Cryptogasmic is all about creating a really sort of great crypto community that serves the purpose and benefit for everybody. It's not just a group that talks about Lambos and everything going to the moon and bragging about 100 and 200% trades. We try to keep it real, and we're here to try to help everybody achieve financial freedom through crypto and do better in the world through crypto. We're only just starting, so glad to have you in the community. This is our market update that we do sort of once or twice a week. So let's get straight into it. I'm not really the bearer of good news today, unfortunately. Now, one thing in cryptogasmic, is that we don't panic. We like to make rational, unemotional decisions based on technical analysis, based on what's going on in the market, and we prepare ourselves so that we can take advantage of every situation, whether it's good or bad. Now, those of you who have been with me for a while, I told you all in November and December that, anybody can, anybody's a champion trader when everything's bull and everything's running. And I told you all, be careful, don't be caught. And all those people that chased Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these coins in December, they've now got burnt fingers. As I told you all, I bought my last round of Bitcoin at below 2,000, and I sold at 9,500. It peaked up to 20. I could have got some more, but it seems that my analysis is right. So where are we right now? So those who have been following my analysis on, and I'm going to really focus on Bitcoin today because Bitcoin really is the main control of everything that happens in crypto at the moment. And whether it's good news, bad news, sideways news, whatever, it affects everything. Now, we've been going in a sideways consolidation for a few weeks now, and we really needed to break above this trend line, and we needed to get above this red trend line, which was the bullish trend that we had been following. Back here since the beginning of the year. Hit the trend, come back down, hit the trend, come back down, hit the trend, come back down, rose above the trend and started a new trend for this year. This was the point we thought we were going to, it's been a parabolic extension right through. So a correction was needed. However, it's really now starting to look like a serious correction. And if Bitcoin can't hold its own here and hold a few parameters, I think we're going to see a pretty fast bleed down to 9, down to 7, maybe down to $5,000 again. The news around Bitcoin and everything in the news is not helping at the moment. And basically, there's just no new money coming into crypto. It's the same money sloshing around. And this is why I've been very, very picky and very careful with the altcoin trades, because it's really hard to get anything more than a 15-20% trade. And that's the same as it was in July, August. And unless you really know what you're doing, you're going to get caught, and a lot of people are going to lose money. And that's why being a part of our community is, I think, really important, because I really want to try to help everybody to learn for themselves, so they can see the signs and make the right decisions. I saw in the chat room some people saying that they're going to panic sell under 10. You don't panic sell, you sell at the right time. Even when things are coming down, you can still make money. I think in hindsight, with some of my signals like XLM, like CMT, SALT, we probably should have recognized that the Bitcoin was struggling, and we probably should have been looking for the 20 to 30% gains. There's nothing wrong with making 30% in a few days, but we get so used to making those 100% trades. But at the end of the day, when you're a trader, you got to take what the market wants to give you. Now, if that's 20% in 2 days, take it. Like I keep saying, some people invest a lot of money in a property so they can make 10% per annum. Okay. And when you look at Bitcoin in the big scale of things, this dip's not really that big a deal, but it is when people were buying it up here at 16, 17, 13, All of these, it's washing all of these people out. But what concerns me more is the overall effect it's going to have on crypto at the moment. Okay. So where are we right now? So I've gone back from watching Bitcoin on the 6 hour to the 1 hour, maybe even the 30-minute. So let's start on the 1 hour. So what you can clearly see is this. We're clearly making lower lows. Okay. We've pushed this line once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and it's just meeting resistance every single time. Okay, over the last week. It got above here, support, and it's just been resistance ever since here. And it's tried, and it's tried, and it's tried, but just over the last day or two, it's really fell hard. And what you can see now is we've really fallen to a low. Now, if we fall below this low, at that stage, I do see a sell-off, right? So if we start falling below the 10,150 mark, I can see a fall, a bleed, and probably a pretty fast bleed back down to $8,000, $7,000. Okay. Now that's not to say that it's not going to turn around. There could be a lot of people with buy orders waiting around the 10,000, but I think once we get down to here, a lot of people are going to be rushing to sell. So let's look at it both ways. So for this to bounce back up, this really needs to start to move. We can see the hourly is falling to the floor. Let's look at the 15-minute. So the 15-minute is just resetting and just starting to turn. So what happens here in the next... Today's a really, really important day for Bitcoin, I believe. A lot of volume is coming out. All right, so we really, really need some whales to stand up, and we need the bulls to stand up now and say enough is enough. It's fallen to the floor on the 15-minute. The 30-minute has just started to turn on the RSI. Now, the RSI gives you a bit more of advanced reading, whereas the MACD reads as it happens. Okay, so I'm more tending to look at the RSI at the moment, the strength indicator. So we really, really do need it to turn and turn quickly. We're way below the, we've fallen right through the clouds. And this is basically our last stand right here. Right here. 10,073. So that 10,100 to 10,050. I think if it falls through there, we're going to see a quick fall. On the upside, yeah, I mean, we basically need to see a bounce to try to hold at least to get back to the top of this 11,000 mark, to break back through. It can do it. It's been resilient in the past, but my personal feeling, you know, Bitcoin's facing a lot of issues right now, and it's become expensive. It's taken a long time to process, and it's kind of failing at every point that was what was making it awesome in the first place. So let's have a look at the market caps today. Right. So yeah, I mean, look, it's falling again. Money's coming out, and I think that if we do fall below that $10,070 low, we're going to fall pretty fast, and people are going to be selling into USD, including myself. All right. Now, the Bitcoin ownership of crypto is also diminishing. Ethereum is really not that far behind Bitcoin, and for the first time in history, maybe possibly could overtake Bitcoin. Now that would be a huge shakeup. It may even generate some positive news, maybe. I mean, I don't know. But there's a big difference between the rest, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, which has now moved into number 4 place. And I think there'll become a time when Bitcoin Cash overtakes Ripple. Okay, so big day, big day today. Nothing much more to say. So if it falls, I'm actually going to start sending some of my. I'm going to start closing some trades today, even if there's a little bit of a loss on some of them, and I'm going to be preparing to go over into US dollar value. Now you got to remember, I've been trading this for the last year or two. So I'm still exiting with a lot of profits. I sold most of my Bitcoin at now at 9,500 on the initial leg. Right, so back here on the way up, I got out around about here. Right, I got out here, and then it turned around and it had a little bit of a peak, and it caught everybody. So basically, everybody who chased this is just now being washed out. And that's what I try to teach people in Cryptogasmic, and I'm going to keep advising people to not chase things. Even though I sold out most of my Bitcoin here and I went over into Ethereum at this stage, not once did I chase it here. I think I bought some more around about the 11,500, and I bought some more at 9,500 back over here, 9,700 back in here. So I've averaged out to around the 10,000. So any Bitcoin I've got, I'm going to cash out once this falls below that 10,070 mark. Okay, try to cash out before it goes below 10,000. I will, and then I'll wait and see. You know, if it turns around, I would rather buy it back at 11,000, 12,000, confirming support and money coming back in. Otherwise, I'll just let it bleed, and we'll see what happens. So if that does, what's going to happen to Ethereum? Right now, Ethereum is proving to be really strong. I've been pushing Ethereum at our group since below $200, which even wasn't that long ago, to be honest. And we're still riding above this trend with Ethereum. Ethereum's performing much better than Bitcoin. If all the money goes out of Bitcoin, what happens to Ethereum then? We need to wait and see. People may store their value in US dollar, US Tether, until everything calms down. Maybe they'll store it in Ethereum, and Ethereum will get that kick up the arse that takes it onto number one. But I think that as crypto in these early stages, and Bitcoin is the one that everybody knows, I think if Bitcoin does dump down, all the media are going to talk about is the crash of Bitcoin, and it'll fall fast. Maybe the seasoned investors and the professionals and the ones in the game already will realize that maybe they'll put their money into Ethereum at this point. Maybe they'll cash out, wait for Ethereum to fall back down, maybe come back down and test 500 and get back in. So it is looking pretty bleak at the moment. Ethereum is holding its own a lot better. Okay, it still hasn't fallen completely through the 1 hour cloud yet. But it has fallen through the 15-minute and struggling to get back through it. A little bit of volume coming back in there. So again, really important. Now, we have seen all this before, so there's really no need to panic. So let's go through my recommendations for each scenario. If you've been in for a while and you can get out of Bitcoin at a profit and get out of your trades at a profit and hold US dollar, I would suggest you do that if we break down below this 10,070 mark. If you chased in December and you've just entered crypto, I still think that there is so much money to be made this year. But you've got to remember, 90% of people in trading lose, 10% of people win. We're trying to educate and teach people in the Cryptogasmic community how to be the 10%. I used to be in the 90% that lose until I worked out what I was doing wrong. And I had a really successful last year and a half. And I just want to pass that information on to other people. So if you got into Bitcoin and you chased it at a high price, My advice would be just hold it. There's absolutely no point in, we can just see another candle has just painted green. It's step by step right now, guys. It really is. So we've had two 15-minute periods in green. I mean, Bitcoin is really, really, really resilient, but I think it's kind of fucking itself up at the same time with SegWit and all of it. You know, it's just the network has become slow. I think governments have had things to do with this. And like I said, I really do believe they're going to allow Bitcoin to be the fall guy. But I think in order for that to happen, somebody's got to really push it hard so it goes to the moon and then crashes hard. You know, a crash back to $5,000 now is not really going to make that much news, I don't think. If it gets pumped to 60 grand and then falls to 5 grand, then it's going to be big news. So we really, 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 let's get let's do a little, let's get rid of all of this for now. Okay. Okay, we know we need to make that. So just for starters, just now, okay, we've got to look at this step by step now today. Okay. We have to start getting back above that trend right there on our opening and closing on the hour. So we're still quite a long way off. All right. So we need a bit of a bounce. We're either going to break down even more, or we're going to get a little bit of a kickback here, like we did over here. Look. Like we did here. Like we did here. Okay. So it's not like we haven't been here before. We've been here many times. The problem is, you know, this is this is like the 5th time now where we've met resistance every single time. So the more times that we meet resistance and the lower the lows, you can see here, look, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, big low. So this is what's concerning right now, is this. This big drop here is really concerning. So right now really is the do or die for me as to whether I stay in Bitcoin or not. And like I said, a lot of my money's not really in Bitcoin. My money is in Ethereum, which I purchased in US dollar. And when I sold my Bitcoin into US dollar and I bought Ethereum in US dollar. So I still believe I made the right decision in December. Could I have made more? Of course I could have. But I'm still okay with my decision. So if you have chased this, treat it as a lesson. Don't panic. I would just hold it. And even if it does fall hard, there'll be a bounce back. And if you want to get out, that's the point to get out. Never sell it on the panic as it's falling hard. There will be a bounce. It may hit 8,000 and bounce back to 10 before it bounces to 5. Okay? There will be another spot. Okay. So Ethereum, I'm going to hold for now. Okay. You know, we're kind of on this trend here for now. So it's not so far behind. It just needs to pump back up a little bit. But again, it's made a lower low. But it did make a higher high here. So we kind of need this to come back and at least be bigger than we need it to open here 11.4, 1,140, and then make a lower low and then a higher high. So just watch it on the small time frames, guys. 15 minutes to the hour if it really concerns you. But I wouldn't panic right now. And regarding the trades, I'm not going to enter any more trades right now. The problem with the trades is there's just no more money coming back into crypto at the moment. So the money is sloshing from Bitcoin to XLM, back to Rise, back to Salt, back to Ethereum, back to Bitcoin. It's just the same money going round and round and round and round. So what we've got to do moving forward is we've just got to be a bit smarter, I think, and probably over the last week or two on our trades like Salt, like XLM, there was actually no reason that you guys didn't get out of those at break even at worst. They all moved away from their target really nicely. And even CMT, which I didn't enter, but I sent out a signal for, it went 10, 12% away from the buy-in. So you should have at least got a stop on your break even. And if you didn't, then I can't be responsible for that. You need to look at the way you're trading and maybe learn some lessons. The only one I'm really stuck with right now is Bitcoin Gold, which I entered like an hour before this sell-off started a couple of weeks ago. So depending on what Bitcoin does, I may even cop the loss on this and just sell out. If there's going to be a quick fall. So again, everything for me is revolving around what happens in that Bitcoin. On that one, Salt, I stopped out at break even. CPC, I stopped out at break even. What else am I in? I'm still holding some Dash, but it seems to be falling as well. Yep, look at that. Little green candle. So they're all kind of following the same pattern. IOTA had a bounce, and if you're in IOTA, I would probably, I may even take a small loss on IOTA as well. Because if it's going to fall, everything's going to fall hard. And look, we can also be really smart and play the swings. If Bitcoin falls back to 6,000, 5,000, we could still buy that and make 100% when it bounces back to 10,000. There's still money to be made in every situation. All right. But these are the positions where you guys need to educate yourselves. Right. You really, really need to educate yourselves. You can't just be in a position where you're reading Twitter or you're signing up for people's signals and you're just buying signals on what they tell you. I'm a member of other people's signal services, and because, you know, I don't have 1,000 eyes. So I sometimes check their signals and take the signal sometimes I don't. But I have the technical analysis behind me now that I can sit and work it out for myself, whether I want to be in that trade or whether not. So there really is ways to make money in all situations, guys. And if you did get your fingers burnt by chasing this and you've just entered in December, don't fall into that psychological pattern of panicking, anxiety. Resist it, resist it, resist it. Try to make all of your decisions unemotional. And if you lose a bit now, take it on the chin and be smart. We work out later how we can get that back. I'll never lose a trade, ever, ever, ever. Even though I might lose 15 or 20% now, I will put it aside, I will make a note, and I will get that trade back. But I'll be really smart about it. And this is the sort of things I want to teach you all in Cryptogasmic. So that's basically it, guys. So just a final recap. Bitcoin's on its last legs at this rate right now. So we're going to watch it on the 1 hour, maybe even the 15-minute. Okay. So two ways. This is either going to bounce back and it needs to push back up into this 11,000 mark. Okay. If we fall down and we break this 10,070 mark, then I'll be looking to exit Bitcoin into US dollar, and I'll be closing all my trades at whatever I've got. I might wait for a little bounce back up, and then I'll reanalyze once all of the dust settles. If we do get the bounce, if you can place a stop loss, and that's another thing, guys. If you bought in at 10 or 9.5 or 8, just place a stop loss at break even, right? The Cryptogasmic way, if we can't make money, we really try to make sure that we don't lose any. So really important, guys, that you put your stop losses on and be prepared. Bitcoin has surprised us before, over here, here. But this is, you know, this is a pretty big downward trend right now that we're in. Yeah. We're really making lower lows and lower highs. Okay. We're really, really dropped outside the channel. So this needs to reverse back into this channel at least. Okay. So we need to get this back up to the 10,500 mark. and just monitor it step by step, guys, on the 15-minute. Watch what's happening. And if we break down here, then I think it's time to exit the market. And then we're going to have to wait and see what happens. All right. I love having you all in the group. This is all a part of trading. Learn it, treat it as a learning experience. You know, you can't just buy something and expect that it goes to the moon, guys, right? So really treat this as a harsh lesson. It'll make you make wiser decisions in the future. And you're not even a real trader until you feel this burn a little bit. And you've got to be able to deal with it. If you can't deal with it, the trading game is not for you. You're better off at just buying something low and just let it sit there for a year. All right? I'm here for you in the chat room. If you've got any questions, let me know. I love having you in the community, guys. And we will get through this one way or the other. We'll either make it together or we'll all go down together, right? Because we're really fighting the good fight here. And this is not a revolution. It's an evolution. It's a new way. Fuck the governments. Fuck the banks. Fuck the system. We need this to work. But we've got a fight on our hands, guys. We've got a real fight on our hands. So let's fight. Let's become educated. Let's not bury our head in the sand and just think we can buy something and it goes to the moon. And let's become educated traders. Let's be the 10% that win. All right, guys, this is Cryptogasm out. I'll see you all soon. All right. We'll update a bit later. Bye-bye.